Hello everybody. I'm going to be talking today about the Steele Dossier. And the Steele Dossier is a document that was funded by the Clinton campaign and DNC. This is something that was reported as a collusion between the Russians and the Trump administration, and it turns out to be that it's completely false. It's a 35-page document compiled by former British intelligence agent Christopher Steele. Now, the New York Times says in a report yesterday, page 15, not in the front, the memos also details unsubstantiated accounts of encounters between Mr. Trump and Russian prostitutes and real estate deals that were intended as bribes, among other claims about Mr. Trump's businesses. So the Clinton and DNC hired Fusion GPS, a research firm, who in turn hired Steele to create this collusion story. Payments to Fusion GPS were disguised to protect the Clinton campaign and avoid violating campaign finance laws. There's not the facts about how these payments were made. Again, they're disguised, so no one can actually verify them yet. So naturally, the Clinton and DNC entities are going to deny that they made any of these payments. The campaign's law firm, Perkins Keogh, called the allegations baseless. This is to insinuate that these were lower-tier contributions, and you can bet some low staffer will get blamed for any mistakes if the Clinton campaign or the DNC owes up to them. Because the Hillary Clinton tends to deny knowledge of any of these kind of schemes. So a year ago, October 2016, the FBI was investigating and apparently willing to pay Fusion GPS for credible Russian collusion in the election. This was also in response to the Russian hacking of the Democratic Party email accounts and Trump's relation to it. The M16 agent Steele was never paid. This is according to the Washington Post. It's not uncommon for the FBI to pay informants for their services from qualified foreign agents. But we need to also remember that this is an Obama-era FBI. For Steele, this was a lucrative deal, being paid by Clinton, DNC, and possibly the FBI. Steele said in June 2016, at the initiation of this, the Russian regime has been cultivating, supporting, and assisting Trump for at least 5 years. This was his allegation. So again, you start with the allegation, and then you move on to find the facts, rather than the other way around. The Clinton campaign and DNC paid Steele to find a collusion that never existed there. It was wishful thinking on their part. A final dash to tear down Trump after he won the election. As often to the media, as it was reported just before and after the election, that a Russian collusion was going on. There was no evidence of it, but if you keep saying collusion with the Russians often enough, people will believe it. Perhaps unknowingly the journalists believe it. Who knows? But it does seem like journalism today is on a track to act on behalf of generally liberal causes they think are important, and denigrate others. So there's a lot of propaganda going on with the government and with the media. Just the fact that this reporting in the Washington Post and the New York Times is weighing it back. It's not up and center. Now, Trump also says the Uranium One deal in 2010 is the real Russian story. And in many ways it is, and he has a point. Now, I'm not a big fan of Trump, but I'm also not a big fan of poor journalism. This was a deal where the Russians came to own 1/5 of the United States uranium deposits. Clinton received donations for her bid with the Democratic nomination in 2008. This is the same Clinton campaign that through they're getting proceeds from the Clinton Foundation, from countries like Saudi Arabia and other places. The foundation, which is supposed to help people, tends to not live up to those what it's expected to do. We know from some of the disasters in Haiti in the past 20 years, a lot of funds were supposed to be going to help victims there, but the foundation wasn't inept at actually making any difference or making any contributions to those needs. So there's a lot of promises and a lot of hush-hush and just a lot of corruption. And you have to ask, well, why did Hillary Clinton lose when it seemed like she had every reason to win? And this is part of it. And when you start looking at why there's such a we're hearing from Trump, for example, about fake news. This is a part of it. Certainly the New York Times and Washington Post did report these stories, but again, they're put on page 15 away from the front cover or in the beginning of their online search. You actually have to search these articles, so they don't even show up. So it's really a sad day for journalism today. It seems like this should have been uncovered a long time ago. It's a sad day for our political discourse, because a lot of people are saying things without the full understanding and knowledge of what's actually going on. And this has to change. We need to have credible news sources that are being reported, and when we don't know, we should say we don't know. That's what journalists are supposed to do. Part of what people are doing online is trying to fill that void, because the mainstream media is not doing a very good job at it. And they're really getting scoring points for making unforced errors so that Trump scores points on these. And I'm not a fan of Trump. I'm not an adversary. I hope he is successful. Obviously, as these videos go on, I'll have more to say about Trump and his administration. Until then, have a good one.